I'm in a negotiating mood.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna collect from you.
No, you're not.
Do you ever get those calls? Have you ever got any collection calls?
I fortunately have not.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I did way back in the day. I may or may not have bought some things at Abercrombie and Fitch in college.
Oh.
Yeah.
You definitely did.
I
Sounds
definitely
like you
did. I definitely may have for sure purchased things and then forgot to pay on it. I think. I don't remember. But I'm sure there were some collections calls. And then I had a ton of experience talking through negotiations and collections when I owned the mortgage business. So explorers, that's what we're going to talk about today. If you are on the pursuit of mastery of money and you know anyone or you yourself might have some collections, today's the day. We're going to talk about understanding the business model, how to get rid of medical collections, why those are some of the last ones you should pay. It's kind of interesting. And then how to protect yourself from some of those things that pop up on your credit report, as well as how to get them cleared off your credit report. So all of that and more to come.
Cool. I'm really glad we're I don't have much experience about this.
Yeah.
And so it's really awesome that we're having this conversation, especially with your background.
Agreed.
So, so where do we start?
Where do we start? Well, first of all, do you know what will kick something to a collection?
That's actually a question that I was going to ask you. So what would kick something into a collection? So I have it that if there is a payment that you have, you do not pay it, I'm assuming maybe 3 months.
Okay.
At that point, it would then be kicked to collections.
Yep, you're very close. Somewhere between, it's called an aging report. And an aging report in a company means that something has gone 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Typically 90 to 120 days is when it's finally kicked over to a collections agent.
Gotcha.
And you'll find that on many people's credit reports, collections will be medical. They will be things like student loans tend to go into collections. Sometimes they are liens or judgments that have gone into a collections mode. And then some will be vehicles. Like typically a vehicle that has been collected upon is one that's been repoed. But in some cases you may have like a buy here, pay here lot where they won't actually repo or can't repo the vehicle. They'll send that to collections.
Gotcha.
Right? So the first thing to understand is that something has gone to collections because you have neglected to make the payment on it for a certain period of time. Call it 90 days, 120 days, what have you. Once it goes to collections, what happens is there is a collections agent or a business that buys that debt. Okay. So the most common one that we would see is medical collection. So I would assume that at some point in your young, fit life, you have gone to the doctor.
I have, yes.
Yeah. I won't ask you what for because that would violate HIPAA regulations.
Well, thanks for being integrous.
I try.
And honoring the laws.
I try. So when you went in for the vasectomy and you didn't pay for it.
Oh wait, we're recording.
Is this live? So let's say that Nick had a procedure, we'll call it. And the procedure, when is planned, he submitted it to his insurance company, or the doctor's office did, but the insurance company said, we'll pay 30% of it, but not the rest of it. Or maybe it was a procedure, like let's say it was a dental procedure, that insurance didn't cover and you were supposed to pay for, but then you moved away. Okay? Didn't know where you were, so after 90 days, they sold that debt to a collections agent.
Gotcha.
When they sell that, and this is a business, right?
Yeah.
Like debt collection is a massive, massive business. And in fact, John Oliver did a story on Last Week Tonight that we will link to down below, but it's a really intriguing look at collections in the United States.
Cool.
So what happens is when they sell it, how much do you think they buy your debt for?
How much do I think? Well, I would probably say it's at a discount. Maybe 70%.
Okay. You're close.
Okay.
It's usually between, they'll buy it for 10 to 30 cents on the dollar. Yep.
They'll buy it for 10 to 30 cents. Okay, so between 70 and 90.
Yep.
So if I owed $10,000,
like
that, and that was the collection amount, the collection company would pay anywhere between $7,000 to $9,000 for that $10,000 debt. right?
No, they would pay somewhere between
1 to 3?
1,000 and 3,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, so they're
Yeah.
getting it for a really good deal.
They're getting a really good deal on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So for those of you that see a collection on your credit report, and let's assume that it is a $500 medical debt, and it came from an x-ray that you were charged for and your insurance didn't cover, that collection agent probably bought that debt for somewhere between $50 and $150.
Okay.
So if they collect anything over $150, technically it's profit, right?
Yeah.
And if they bought it for $50, anything over $50 is profit.
Got it.
So this is where understanding this business model really comes in handy, because if you understand that a collection company has bought your debt for cents on the dollar, and you know that their goal is to get wins every single day, and those wins come in the shape of a payment from a borrower, maybe a settlement, like a negotiated settlement from a borrower, or it's just collecting money, like it could be payments that are made. So some collectors are going to be a little more diligent and say, no, you owe $500. I want $25 a month until it's paid off. And they will call you and call you and call you until you make the payments.
Now, question, I might
Yeah.
be jumping ahead, but what happens if you ignore the collection?
Good question. Good question. So typically what happens is collections have a certain age that they will stay on your credit report before they eventually fall off.
Okay.
Okay. So it could be, and I don't know the exact number, it's somewhere between 7 and 10 years, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay.
But if you let a collection go for 10 years and it eventually falls off, that's that. What you will be dealing with is a depressed credit score in the midst of that.
Yeah.
Right?
And probably still receiving calls and the stress of knowing that it's still there. And
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yep. So again, first of all, you have to understand they're buying it for cents on the dollar. They want to win every single day. So our goal is to offer a certain amount of money that they go, yeah, we'll take that. Okay. So if it's in this $500 example, if they bought it for $50 and you offer $150 or $175, they may go, yeah, we'll do that. We'll take it. Right. Particularly if you say, hey, listen, this is all I have. This is all I'm going to have. I want to negotiate this debt down. And then here's the key, Nick. You want to make sure that you are negotiating a pay for deletion letter.
Pay for deletion letter.
Yep.
Okay.
Sometimes called PFD.
Okay.
Okay. And we will link to a blog post in the comments that will guide you to a PFD letter. But ultimately that PFD letter says, if I agree to pay this amount, you agree to basically wipe this off my record. Okay.
Got it.
And that would be important for what reason?
Because it's been on your credit report for 90, 120 days or longer.
Yep.
Yeah.
So your score's going down because of it, right? Or it's depressed. Once it's wiped away, your score will come back up a little bit.
Yep.
Right? So that's our
That
goal.
would be the opposite side.
Yep.
So now it's important that you do the pay for deletion because you could. So there, I'm assuming there's an option where you would pay and it not get deleted.
Yes.
Okay.
And what happens in that instance is it is listed as a settlement,
Okay.
but it might say settled but not paid in full, right? Which means that we've negotiated, but it's still staying on your credit report.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So the pay for deletion is super important.
Super, super important. Yeah. Now, here's the deal. I found some statistics on this. In terms of medical collections, 45% of people surveyed said they would have a hard time paying a medical bill. So there is an extreme amount of medical debt that's hanging out there that many people need to realize is negotiable, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. People. I mean, I did not know that this one was even a business.
Yes.
But I was just operating, and maybe it was the naiveness, or also just like being like not exposed to, just being exposed as like a good society citizen kind of thing. It's just like, oh, if you have debt, you have to pay it. Like,
right.
There's no way out of it.
Yep.
But there's an actual business around it.
There is definitely a business.
So that's good news for the people who do have some type of collection. There are options.
This is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Are there organizations that battle against collection agencies? Like, would I have to be having this conversation by myself, or could I have someone rep me and then they also get a percentage of what they say?
No, it's a good question. There are definitely what would be called like a debt settlement agency.
Okay, gotcha.
And they will call and negotiate those kinds of debts for you. There's a lot of like consumer credit consumer, like here locally, there's a Consumer Credit of Des Moines. They will call and negotiate on your behalf and things like that.
Got it.
There is a governmental agency. At one point it was through the Federal Trade Commission, and then it got kicked over to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, which now has kind of been defunded, or I think the Trump administration is trying to do away with it. At any length, there is still something called the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Okay.
And this is a legislative, a piece of legislation that protects consumers. And what it protects consumers from is something being applied to your credit report in error, or that's untruthful or not provable.
Yep.
Okay. So as an example, a collection agent buys a piece of debt, puts it on your record as a collection, but has no record of that medical procedure happening. So you've had the vasectomy, but there's no evidence on paper anyway that you've had it. So what you could do through the Fair Credit Reporting Act is send a letter to that creditor, that collection agent, and say, I want you to verify that this is my debt. And if they can't produce paperwork that shows that it's yours, then they have to wipe it off your credit report.
Got it.
So there are ways to protect yourself. It's just you really have to know what they are.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And not
from the procedure.
From the procedure on.
Got it.
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
Got it. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that the most important things is, one, that there is actually a business to it. What you see isn't necessarily what is the truth. There's negotiation aspect to it.
Yep.
They're looking to get wins, and they bought my debt on a for cents on the dollar.
Yes.
And the most important thing that I'm hearing is to ask for a pay for deletion letter.
Yes. The goal is to get it removed
Get
from
it
your
off.
credit report.
Yeah.
You got it.
Got it.
You nailed it. Nice job. Nailed it. Money bags.
Money bags.
All right. So we hope you enjoyed this particular lesson. It's very important, and we hope it serves you well. Coming up, we have some kind of cool shows in the next few episodes.
We got some cool shows.
Yeah.
Cool shows. All right.
Yeah. You'll
Looks like
learn
you
all
have
about it.
to stay tuned.
You have to stay tuned. Yeah. Just join us.
See you
We'll
guys.
see you next time.